A very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So last session, we were discussing about and roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer. So let me just open that. All right. So this is what I have discussed yesterday. The roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer would be pointing towards creating an infrastructure for the application to run and release the application in a smooth manner without any downtimes, by the way. All right. So in that context, okay, so all both the roles and responsibilities is pointing towards to some server. And while we understanding this, our operating system is a Linux operating system, and in the Linux, we are going to learn something about Red Hat Linux, and that's where RHL 9 is what we wanted to learn, by the way, right? And in order to uh, create, or in order to create a machine, so we are going to the Azure cloud, and we're creating a machine out there. In case, okay, uh, if your account is completely not ready or not signed up, you can still also go for there is a URL which is given in this one. So this URL is available mostly in your links. There is a section which is given, okay, under your live session. So there is this killer code or GitHub link. Let me also put it in the chat. And this link has the details about how to sign up to Azure as well, right? And also here you have something called as killer coda. So you can just start with the practice of this one as well. But it is not going to help you, but we'll just start with our own machine. In case in the first 1 day, 2 days, if you are not having that machine ready also in Azure, it is okay. You can start the things over here. So we wanted to start with the Linux basics. And yesterday also we were talking about the Linux is a command line operating system. We're going to learn bunch of commands, and those bunch of commands itself is documented in my Killer Coda website. There's a Killer Coda link. You go there, and probably you just need to click on login once. Just log in with your Google account only. Just log in with your Google. All right. So after login, I think you just moved out. You can close this, open this once again, Killer Coda. You get two sections, by the way, Linux basics and Linux administration. So first we're going to see the Linux basics. The documentation is completely here, by the way. The documentation about the Linux basics is available here only. So on the left side, what I'm going to have is the documentation. Okay, so to start with. So we're going to learn some Linux commands. On the right side, something is happening, doesn't matter. If you don't have a box to practice, just first today's session, maybe it is okay to still run the commands here. Or else, let's go back to the Azure. Yesterday, we were trying to create a machine. Let me create a machine once again. So I'll go to, yesterday I was talking about a resource group, create the list of resources. You go to the resource group, and there is a couple of resources group I have, by the way. So, but maybe in your case, it is empty. So just click on create a resource group. And so like, let's say something like that, something I'll give, but choose East US and create it. And after that, again, go to the home and go to the virtual machine. So create a virtual machine. So creation of the virtual machine. So create a virtual machine. Choose the resource group name and give the virtual machine, something like that. And you know to change anything over here. So you'll see the image, maybe by default, it will choose something for you. So click on all images, go for community image. So DevOps hyphen practice you search for it. And go for password. So just I'm giving my username. DevOps 123456 I'm giving. So the license you just choose other and click on review and create. And create it. So it says the deployment is complete. So which is our VM creation is done. So I'm clicking go to resource. And so here you're going to get a IP address, public IP address. So what you need to do is you need to take this IP address. Yesterday I already told you to use a putty software if you are using Windows, or if you're already using some other software, you already know how to connect to Linux, no problem. So just use whatever the tool you want. This doesn't matter. Otherwise, this is the putty software. In my case, it is going to be a command line terminal, which macOS has inbuilt command line terminal. So I'll be using that. So SSH, and I'm going to give my username, whatever I have given to create the server, and the IP address. So it is going to ask for the password. I'm giving 123456. I think I misspelled it. All right, I'm inside the machine, so we should start learning the commands. Okay, until here we have discussed in yesterday's session. Now here also this Killer Coda is a website. They will provide a basic Linux machine or Linux box for you to practice, by the way. Okay, so they will give you a session for 1 hour for you to practice. In case, like let's say you have created an account or whatever the reason your account is not ready, so you can still continue the practice. And okay, over here, by the way, or else you created a machine, I will start directly using this particular machine. Anything is fine. So for at least for the learning perspective, by the way, just it will help you only for 1 or 2 days, not more than that. I mean, the machine which the Killer Coda offers may not help you with all the options that we wanted, that we're looking in the Linux, by the way. So, okay. So just the basic commands, it can work for, right? So we're going to start with the Linux commands. We're going to learn the Linux commands. All right. So that's something we're going to start with. So before starting, I see a couple of hands. Let me just take the questions. You are on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. So I was trying to create a virtual machine, but it got to a stage and it just left me stuck and is rolling. That's what I've been dealing with since all day.
Okay. So let me do one thing. So today I'll share the lab session link from today. So maybe just join there. We'll try to see what's going on your screen later in that session. And we'll try to close that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, hi Raghu. My question may be very basic because yesterday I have tried creating the virtual machine on Azure and it was created successfully and I was even able to connect through Windows PuTTY server also. But if I want to connect to it through SSH commands, I mean, what is the process? Because I'm pretty new to this kind of environment.
Are you using Mac OS?
No, I'm using Windows.
So PuTTY only, simple.
Okay. And the other question is like when we need to create the resource group and then we have to create this virtual machine. So suppose if I created it and suppose if I'm not using the virtual machine, can I make it stop? Suppose if I stop the virtual machine, still I'm billable or chargeable for the account or still, because instead of deleting the resource group or subscription completely, so is there any other option to keep my virtual machine to stop if I stop it so that the account will not be chargeable or something?
I already told you. So a couple of things. Subscription, I did not told to delete. Subscription will always be there. I asked you to delete only the resource group. And deleting a virtual machine, I mean, you're just creating a test box. There is nothing in that particular machine, and
Yeah.
literally you're not losing anything. Okay. So, and the second thing is, yes, even though you stop the machine, so there are a couple of components, still the billable will come into picture. And if you are okay to bear that bill, please stop it. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay the bill, please delete. At this point of time, there is nothing so crucial in that particular machine for us to save and use it. One day we need them, we'll stop them. Not now.
Okay, thanks Raghu. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So let's start with the Linux basics. So here I open the Killer Coda link, and inside that I opened Linux basics. Inside the Linux basics, so here is the starting point. It's just the documentation is here. My just document is here. That's it. Nothing more than that. So you can. So if you see the command line, by the way, so maybe yesterday I was executing some couple of commands after creating the machine. I was just typing some sort of commands like /proc/cpu info. Okay, something like that. I have been doing it. Okay, some commands I executed and gave you an understanding. What is the hardware, right? Now, what is that you need to understand in this exercise over here is you are going to execute some commands. Okay, so in Linux, anything you wanted to perform, you are going to execute some command. So that is yeah, in Linux, anything you wanted to do the job, you're going to execute some commands. And the command line syntax, if you look in, so basically, so this is how it is going to be. You execute a command and maybe it generates some output. I'm using it maybe because every command may not give you the output also. Okay, it may be generating some output, and based on the output, you need to understand, okay, whether the job you're looking for has been completed or not. Okay, so that is how you're going to execute some command. It may give some output. By seeing the output, you maybe need to understand that whether the job has been done or not, because sometimes it throws some error or not. It throws some error. For example, I'm giving user add test, some command I'm picking, so I'm getting some permission denied. So by seeing this message, I probably understood that, okay, this user, I mean, something is wrong or it's not happened. Okay, so like that, you're going to go for seeing the output and you will understand the things. Okay, and you're executing the command. So what I want you to understand is you execute a command and you may or may not get some output, but if you get some output, based on the output, you need to understand the things. And also if you understand the prompt over here, so there's a prompt coming in, okay? Linux by default, there is some prompt comes, but here I'm just coloring it. By default, by default OSs might not give you any colors, by the way, any sort of colors. So I'm just giving, okay, the color. The prompt is still same, but I'm just enabling some color just only for identification purpose. And over here, you're getting a username. What is the username I logged in? And at the rate, what is the system name I logged in? What is the system name I logged in? So that is the details it is showing here. All right. So that is what you will understand from the prompt perspective. And the commands, if you start looking at the commands, by the way, you're going to have the commands, just any command, by the way, you're going to learn the commands. And commands may have some options. Okay. So yesterday, if you have seen, like for an example, like free command I was using and free -m I shown. Okay. So the free command is showing you the total memory on the system, whereas free -m is also showing the same thing. But actually this option is changing the information that is getting displayed in megabytes. Okay. The free command is trying to show the output in megabytes. That's where the commands, whatever you have, may have some options. It's not only just the command, it may have some options as well. Okay. And the options generally you'll be finding out as a hyphen single character, like here you have seen, or else hyphen single word. Okay. Or else hyphen single word. Anything it is possible. The commands may have the inputs like hyphen single character or hyphen single word or hyphen single word. Okay. So it all depends upon the command one. It all depends upon the command. Right? If you really wanted to know about the options of any command, okay, from the operating system also you will get it. Okay. But however, if I suggest you, if I were you, by the way, or I suggest majorly to start from the internet as well. Okay. For an example, if I am looking for options of free command, I'll search for Linux manual page free command. You type like that and you get a manual pages, how to use free command. So here you are going to get the details, by the way. So what is the columns it is showing you? It is telling. So you can see this, I used a -m. You can also use a hyphen single word also. MEBI, it is telling megabytes. So you give that also, it is same thing. Hyphen single character. They're telling that information. Like this, you're going to have options for any command. And if you are wanted to know about the options of any command, so just start from the internet. You will find the documentation better here, because why I'm not suggesting of the command line is, okay, searching the document and all is a bit challenge out there. So here it is easy. Okay. So browser means, of course, you're already comfortable, right? So there is nothing special you need to hold, right? So that's why it is, okay. So that is why I would suggest you to start from here. Okay. I know in command line also you can get it, but I'm consciously telling, please start from the internet. So that will help you as well. So that means the commands will be there and some options will be there, and the options, you can't remember everything. So that's where you always refer the documentation and do that. And some options maybe over a period of time while you're doing and using them using them daily every day, you may remember them, right? So that's how it happens. So that's okay. So one day, I mean, you'll get hands-on, you'll remember the things and you'll move on, right? But every option, honestly, I will also don't remember. Anytime I need it, we'll always refer the documentation. That much you should be doing. Okay. So today's world, finding the information is not a big deal, correct? So that's how I would suggest you to start from internet, so that it is easy to read and search, by the way, rather than from the command. All right. So that's how your command have some inputs or may have some inputs. It's not like must have inputs. Command may have inputs. Depends upon your need. You need to provide some input. And also some option, by the way. And now the next option is basically you may have some inputs also. Okay. So for an example, I'm trying to add a user. Okay, I was giving some username, right? So the user add command just can't work like that. You need to provide an input saying that, what is a user you want to add and all. Okay, so that's where you are going to provide some input also to the you may provide some input also to the command. Not only the option, you will also provide some input to the command as well. It depends upon the command again. So for an example, I was giving cat/proc/cpu info. So this is I'm providing an input. Then it is coming the information, right? So whatever the command it doesn't matter, but you're providing some input. Without the input, it is not going to work. So this is how we are going to. So this is how we are going to deal with the commands. So command will be there. Command may have some inputs. You need to know your requirement, and you need to provide the options accordingly, because you are performing some action on the system, right? And sometimes it may need the input, and it all depends upon the command which you are executing. Okay, so this is the slight introduction to the commands, and let's start with the actual commands we wanted to learn. Okay. All right. And even before, okay, going with the commands, so let's start with a slight understanding of the Linux operating system and their directory structure. Okay, Windows, I think every one of you might be already at least have a understanding of the directory structure, right? So you open my PC, so it looks like this. Okay, it just looks like this. It is going to be, okay, so starting with the C drive. Okay, you have some other things, but that's okay. It all starts in C drive. You have different folders. Okay. You have different folders in Windows. C drive you open, you'll see many folders, by the way, right? So there is a C drive window, C drive program files, C drive document and settings. Okay, so blah blah blah. There are many directories. Now you go Windows, C drive Windows, you'll find hell lot of directories, right? So now as an operating system user, you're never been bothering about each and every directory which is there in the operating system, correct? So Linux also, it is the same thing. It's an operating system. For an operating system, there will be a hell lot of directories. We don't need to bother about each and every directory, what it is doing, by the way, or to learn about every directory. In Windows, you never do that. Okay, and you're actually using the Windows operating system, right? So Linux also is another operating system. So each and every piece of information you may not need to know, you never need to know, by the way. Okay, so I'm clearly calling it out because I see a lot of people waste the time around Linux. Okay, but what is the ROI of that? That means a return on investment of your time is not going to be that great, by the way, if you spend on Linux. But sometimes it comes handy. But once in 1,000 times, if you're getting a use, by the way, I think that information itself you will find mostly on the internet, to really remember the things, right? Windows also, you've been doing the same thing. That's what I'm telling. Windows, you've been using the Windows without knowing each and every option in the Windows. Linux also, you can start using the Linux without knowing each and every option in Linux. Okay, so to waste time like me, by the way, I spent a lot of time in Linux, okay, in my early days of career. And if I now look at our ROI, by the way, so I mean, I'm not getting much, by the way, right? So I spent a lot of time, okay, a lot of time to gain the hands onto the Linux. See, that time it made sense because there was no Stack Overflow. Okay, there was no proper Google, documents available. So information finding is very difficult. So we had to spend hours and days of time to do the things. Okay, small thing also we had to spend a lot of time to understand and do that. But today is not that, right? So Linux is much mature, internet is much, information is much available today. And even these operating systems, when we started the career, it was Linux 2.1, by the way. Okay, so now Linux Red Hat 9 is running. Okay, so from comparing to 2 to 9, there's a significant change in the versions, by the way, right? So that's where it's not that critical to know each and every piece of it, but whenever the essentially some task comes into picture, at least you should start understanding it, reading about it, and perform. Okay, no discount in that. But however, also while you are actually beginning the Linux, by the way, so you need to know certain things, And those particular certain things we are going to cover and go. Okay. So I'm clearly setting that context, by the way. So to start with, so here Linux directory structure also, like you have many directories, by the way, so for different purpose. Okay, but unlike Windows, okay, Linux has certain standard directory structure. It's good to learn, but one day you can just read it. Maybe you have some half an hour of time, so probably you just read about what all the Linux directory structure, and so what are the different directories, why they came up with that directories and all, or what is the use of those particular directories. You can understand that. I'm also not interested at this point of time to tell you all the things. It's unnecessary. It's a folder. Okay, so let it be, no problem. All right, so that's where Linux directory structure looks like this. Linux directory structure or Windows directory structure starts with C drive. Linux directory structure starts with the /. If you see this diagram, it's a big /. It starts over here. Windows starts with C drive. Linux starts with /. Okay, maybe in Firefox, if you are installing the software, you're going to get a, let's say, C drive program files, Firefox, all the files will be there in one folder. But here you are installing Firefox, some files will go to /bin, some files will go to /etc, some files will go to /lib, and blah, blah, blah. Like, so the installation will distribute the files in different places. Now let's not get into the debate of, so keeping everything in one place is good, distributing the files is good. Okay, let's not get onto that debate because you can't change anything about it, right? You can't go to the Windows and change the approach. You can't go to the Linux and change the approach. You have to just live with that, right? So let's align only rather than debating that, right? So this is how it is going to be. There'll be different directories under / having different purpose. And that's how the Linux directory structure is designed by them. So under / it is going to be multiple directories, and that / is called as a root, by the way. Okay, it's like a tree. Okay, so the root of the tree basically this tree starts from one basic root, right? So that is the starting point of the tree, and that is called as /. That is called as a root. Okay, and inside root you have a lot of trees and branches. The same, like it has a lot of folders inside that. Okay, so here in Windows, we have backslashes, by the way. If you have observed Windows, by the way, you can also open Windows, maybe on the, Windows Explorer or something like that, or command prompt also, Windows CMD. So if you see the prompt of Windows, it is always \. Okay, it is always \. But here in Linux, we're going to use a /. Okay, so in Linux, we're going to use /. And I'm using something called as Linux and Unix. Okay, so Linux and Unix means why I'm using the Linux and Unix word is because Linux is actually inspired from Unix and made something like Unix. Okay, it's not a flavor of Unix. You can call it as it's a copy of Unix. Okay, but not exact copy again. It's just a copy of Unix, but it's just like basically like, so rewritten. You can understand that the idea has been copied, not like the whole thing has been copied. So when they wanted to make an alternate, like yesterday I was telling you something, right? So Richard Stallman is formed a community, the GNU stands for don't use Unix, not Unix. NU stands for no Unix. So the movement he has started is he wanted to, so cut down the Unix dominant in the market. He wanted to make something free. That's where the idea of rewriting the Unix things, and Linus has break the code. Or basically, what is Linux? If you understand, no one asked. Okay, that's fine. But let's say, what is Linux? By the way, Linux is not an operating system. Okay, when you actually look at the Unix, or how the Unix will looks like is Unix is basically you're going to have like this. Unix, basically, you're going to have the software and hardware made by the same vendor. This is the software and this is the hardware made by the same vendor. Okay. Now, what is Linux, by the way? So since it is actually coming from a single vendor, it is so stable, by the way. It is so stable, right? And but though it is so stable, okay, the problem with this is pretty simple: the cost. Okay, so that's how your iPhones are so good in performance, and the cost comes very huge, by the way, because that's a Unix box. The software and hardware will be made by the same guy, and there used to be Unix boxes. There used to be Unix world, and in those Unix, by the way, like used to have IBM AX and HP UX, Sun Solaris. These are all Unix boxes we used to have, and those are very stable operating systems, by the way. But however, it's too costly, and that's where, okay. So now, what is the problem? Is software is made by same guy, hardware is made by same guy, and what is something that we can do that any software can run on any hardware, and that means you require a layer to deal with that, and that is called as Linux. Okay, and collaborating with GNU, so we made our Linus Torvalds release a GNU Linux, so which is also called as kernel. Okay, so there is a word called as kernel. Linux is nothing but kernel. Okay, now this is the software which is still provided by Linus Torvalds himself. He will release this particular one on his with his bare hands. He will try to release everything, by the way. Okay, so which you can check it out, kernel.org. So this is the website that where the kernel comes. Now this is the kernel taken by Red Hat, by Debian, by SUSE, and build their operating systems on top of that. Okay, so that is how it is going to. Okay, this is what is the GNU basically. Like they try to break this layer, and after breaking this layer, the things becomes pretty much bearable for everyone in the terms of cost and all. And now, like that Linux, how change this is a one tech or one software that changed the whole industry. That is Linux, no doubt in that. So at least Linux stands in the very first place, at least for me, in my view, by the way. Maybe like there can be others and can have other views, but at least if I look at the software development area, okay, so Linux is the game changer. Okay, so going back, so that is how you're going to have Unix and Linux. The word I use Unix and Linux because it's same, like both, it just inspired from Unix only. Okay. And here you're going to have // and that particular // is also called as root directory. Okay, a simple // is called as root directory in Linux because that is a root, it's a starting. So it's a simple tree concept only. It just inspired from the tree concept. So it is just the root, it's a starting point. So // is called as root. And also in Linux, it is not preferred to give any spaces in the folder names, whatever we create, file names we create, by the way. Okay, so we don't prefer any spaces. It's always going to be non-spaces. And if you need some understanding, by the way, so maybe you can use hyphen, underscore, something like that. That's what we use, but not spaces. Unlike Windows usually come with maybe a lot of spaces. Now in Linux, files directory names are case sensitive. In Linux, file names and directory names are case sensitive. That means in Windows, you can't create a file called as, let's say, small demo. A file name is small demo, and you can't create another file name with the capital demo. By the way, it's not possible. Okay, because Windows works that way. But in Linux, you can create small demo, or also you can create a file capital demo, or maybe one capital D and demo. I'm telling like this. So demo file name is there. In Linux, you can create like this. These are all different files. These are all different file names in Linux. But in Windows, it is single file name only. If you create this file, you can't create any of these files. Or you create this file, you can't create any of the other files. So Linux is a case sensitive, whereas Windows is not. Okay, so this is what something I want you to understand. So // is a root directory. And so that is the starting point of your operating system. And you can start navigating from one directory to another directory. Now let's start with the actual commands. So whenever I am in particular directory, and at least I wanted to see all the files in that particular directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type some command called as ls command. So ls command is going to show me the list of files. In Windows, maybe you double click the folder, it will show you the list of files. So here you have to type a ls command to get the list of files. Okay. And the ls command has certain important options that at least you should understand. So which is ls has a hell lot of options. We can't go with every option out there. So what is needed, we'll understand. Now ls command is actually trying to show some files, 4 files it is showing. And there is also some other files also. Hidden files is also there. And ls-A is going to show you the hidden file also. Windows also, you have a hidden folders, hidden files concept. Here also it is the same thing. So you have a hidden files as well. So ls-A will show you those hidden files. And also one more option I would like to pick is ls-L option. L is going to show you a little bit different format, by the way. Here, you see this? This is showing different columns. By end of the first week, you'll come to know each and every column, what it is doing. But at this point of time, so it's just showing there a little bit more properties of the file. And one of the property I am actually interested in looking is, this is the file. So the file name of this particular file name, when it was last modified, was Feb 14, by the way. It is giving that. The last modified file timestamp. Okay, a timestamp of the file is, this is the timestamp. Whereas this is the size of the file. This is the size of the file, and that means these many bytes it is having. And this is the when it was last modified. And also, if you want to looking for hidden files also, you can give ls-L and capital A also. It will show you the hidden files and their properties as well. Same size and when it was last modified. Okay, so that is what we have with ls command, the first command. And also this ls-L, you can also do a combination also, ls-L, it will work. Okay, some commands works that way as well. You can combine the options. You know, to write separately also. If you are interested in separate, please go. So that is the first command, how to list the files. ls command is going to show you the list of files, and ls-A is going to show you the hidden files as well. And ls-L is showing you in the little bit, okay, little bit long list, we call it up. That means like show the properties of that as well. The view. In Windows also you have views, right? You can see the files, you can see a list view, something like that, right? So it's a list view here, right? So that's about ls command, first command. Any questions on this?
Yeah, hi Raghu, this is Manjunath.
Yeah.
So can you go in the last class you mentioned that there are different flavors, right? Like Linux, Debian, something. SUSE.
Yesterday we were talking about.
Yes, yes. So all this will have the same like commands prompts or like which you are using now? It will be the
No,
same or different?
no, it will be different. So some commands, whatever is made by these GNU guys, will look same. Like ls command works in Red Hat, ls command works in Debian. Because that command is never made by Red Hat or Debian. It's made by this community.
Okay.
They
So for
inherit certain things from GNU. Whatever the things which is inherited from GNU, it works same. And whatever is the commands developed by these guys, it's going to be different.
okay. So in general, corporate we use Red Hat, or is there any other system as
Red Hat. That's why Red Hat.
well? Okay, okay.
Any questions on ls command? Oh, someone raised the hand. Don't see any more hands. Okay. Moving on. So the next command is somehow typing here. So let me use the machine, this one. So here also it is going to be same. So maybe the less files you're having here. That's it. Doesn't change. So, fine. So the next is the next we're having here is how do you do the directory navigation? So in Windows, you maybe do, how do you do the navigation? Double click, go, double click, go. Okay. So that's how we're going to get it. Right. And Windows, sorry, in Linux, you have to execute a command, right? So how do you, okay, how do you, in Windows also, at least on the top, if you go with a browser, Windows folder Explorer, okay, it gives you some identification, okay, so in which directory you are in, right? So maybe if you open something like this, on the top it is showing you you're in this PC, actually you're in C drive, it is showing you that information. But Linux, it is not going to show you that information by default. So you have to execute a command to understand that. Like the command you're going to execute is pwd command. The pwd command is showing you that you are in /home directory // you are under home directory, and inside that again you are in Raghu, this folder you are in. Okay, so you have to execute a command to understand where are you. Okay, so this is the path you are in. Now this is to understand where are you, but if you want to switch to another directory, then the next command comes into picture, which is cd. Okay, so cd's, okay, if I give /, I'll get onto a root directory. So I am under /. And also if you observe, by the way, the prompt actually which I'm giving is started showing you if you're in your home directory, this is your home directory, it just shows this symbol. It shows that tilde symbol. The tilde symbol means you're in your home directory. Okay. But however, I just change this particular prompt because that prompt won't come by default. Okay. I can show that also. This prompt won't change by default. In which directory you are in, it will not show, but I just customize my prompt in such a way that, okay, to make it more productive, so that I don't need to really execute the pw command all the time. So for an example, I'm giving cd/bin, some directory I'm giving. So here only it will show you which directory I'm in. I don't need to really bother about again going and giving pwd. If I'm not representing here, okay, I end up going and, so executing a pwd command to understand that. But I'll not be interested in that all the time. Okay, so just the prompt will provide certain things. Okay, so that's where, so I'm going to use this. Just if you give me a sec, I'll show you the normal Linux, how it looks like. So without any customization, so how it looks like, I'll show you. So this is little customized prompt. Okay, that means you can do the customization. Anyone can do their own customization, no problem. Okay. Just let me. I'm just trying to get a bare minimum Linux box. Just a second. Okay, fine. So I got one bare minimum Linux box. Okay, that's fine. Now, if I go to cd slash, somehow it is showing slash, which is okay. Now cd slash bin, if I go for, okay, it is just showing you the bin only. It's not showing that you're in slash bin. Okay, that's fine. It is showing something. Now, if I go to, let's say cd slash var log, it will just show me log only. It is not showing the full path, right? But whereas the customization which I made it, okay, if I give cd slash var log, I'm getting a complete path so that I will just avoid it. So maybe just don't confuse by seeing our prompt, by the way. This prompt is all customizable. I mean, whoever is matured in Linux, they'll go and customize it because they'll increase the productivity. Okay, so whoever is not matured enough on that particular area, just simply, run those commands, by the way. So I know that Linux has a maturity, it can show you the prompt directly on the command line. I just went ahead and customized in my image, by the way. So which you may not need to execute the pwd commands always to understand where are you. So now I don't need to really understand, okay, where am I? But whereas the other one, if I wanted to understand where am I, so you have to always give the pwd. So just do the comparison, right? So that is what I'm talking about. So here I'm going to show you just the prompt directly. So you know to really execute a pwd command, but maybe if you are dealing any mission, so which was not customized in the prompt, okay, so it is just a command that you need to execute and understand where are you. So otherwise pwd will show you where are you. Using cd command, you can navigate from one place to another place. Okay. So if you don't know any folder, like say I went with the slash var log because I know the path. Let's say if you don't know the path, what do you do? So I'll go to, at least I'll know I'm in cd slash ls. I'll see the folder names. Okay, then I'll understand there is a var. I'll give var directory. And again, I don't know what is inside, maybe ls, because Windows also you do the same thing, right? Click on one folder. Okay, so you'll see the files and you want to go inside. Again, you double click another one. So now here log is there. I'm going inside. Or else no, log, no, not this one. I want to go back. In Windows, again, you'll be having a back button here, right? So somewhere, I don't know, like maybe on the top, you click on the previous folder, you'll go there, right? So, or back button, here is the back button I'm talking about. It will take you back, okay? But otherwise Linux, you go with a shortcut, or basically again with the cd command, just to go with your previous directory. It is cd ... It is cd ... You go with cd ... You just go to your previous. You accidentally entered into one directory, but you want to go back, cd ... And you came back again. Okay. And again, do ls. Maybe you may be thinking, okay, so I should be going into cd, let's say yp, something like that. Okay, I get inside this. That's how you deal with that navigation. So cd and pwd command is a combination that you will use to get onto your directory to understand where are you pwd command, to go into one directory by using cd command. Or if you know the full path, the advantage is you know the full path, by the way, you can directly give the full path. Okay. So for an example, if I wanted to give etc, let's say this config. So I know the full path, I can directly give the full path. Or else you don't know the path, you start navigating. Go in one directory, ls, read it, understand, move on. Same like Windows, no change. Just the command will change. Right? That is cd and pwd commands. All right. Cool. Any questions?
Good morning, Raghu. I have doubt regarding the top command.
Can you go with the commands which we discussed so far?
Okay, I have no doubt.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? Seems a very good audience. Always don't talk and help me and give me a good day. All right. So moving on to the next one. How do we create some files in Linux? Okay. So in Windows also, you can create some files. How do you create a file? Right click new text document, right? So that's how you create a file. Right. If you strictly talk about creating a file, right? So that's the right, I mean, that's a straightforward way. Now, whereas if you want to create a file with some content, it's a different story, brother. Right. So, but if you ask you to create a file in Windows and Linux, it is same only. You just in Linux, you in Windows, you right click on new, and then new text document, and you enter the file name. Your empty file will be created. Right? So the file will be created as an empty file, 0-byte file. The same thing in Linux also. To strictly talk about how do you create a file. So then there is a command called as touch command. Like in Windows, there are n number of other ways to create a file. In Linux also, you have n number of other ways to create a file. But if you strictly talk about the context of creating a file, create a file. If you say that, then basically right click, creating a empty file or create a new file in Windows is the right approach. In Linux, the touch command is the right command to say that. Okay. So touch and some file name, by the way. So for an example, if I'm giving file.txt. So, oh, okay, I'm in a wrong directory, by the way. I'm getting permission denied. So now wherever I'm in, okay, if I want to switch to my home directory to deal with that, CD enter. CD enter will reset your folder path. Where are you? Okay, it will just bring to your home directory. That's also another shortcut. Actually, it was there. I didn't forget to mention. Okay, now touch file.txt. And this file has been created now, right? And if I give ls-l, so you can see that file.txt, so you're getting 0-byte file. You're getting 0 bytes file. So that's how you're going to get it. Now touch is the command to create a files. So under the same way, you can create a multiple files also, touch and sample nodes.txt and lambda.py, something like that. You can create multiple files. Now all those files are empty files. Okay. So ls to check the files created or not. So we just check the files has been created. Those are 0 size files. That's okay. Now there is a very important takeaway, not only the creation of the file here, there's a very important takeaway. In Linux, there is no extension. In Linux, there is no extension. Now extensions are given only for user understanding. Now I have created some files, .txt, .py. Okay, I have created those files for my understanding only. But Windows, the file name is different. This is the file name, and this is the extension. Okay, but Linux is not like that. Now this whole thing is the file name you created for your understanding. That's good only. Okay, you can create the extensions, no problem. But Linux behaves this way. For you can go ahead and create the extensions and understand that's a text file, that's a Python file. But for operating system, it does not matter. But whereas in Windows, for operating system itself, it matters what extension you are creating. Because if the file is .txt, you double click, it open with Notepad. If file is .py, open with double click, it will open with Python, some Python associated executable. Okay. So, but Windows, it's not, Linux, it's not like that. So file extensions are given only for our understanding. There is no prominence in providing that. But we still provide that because it's good only, right? So .py, I easily understand, okay, this is a Python script, isn't it? So that's where we'll always go with the extensions. That's fine. But for operating system, it does not matter. Right? And the next is the creating the directories, by the way. So how you created an empty file? Now create a directory is also an empty directory, and just by using mkdir demo. Okay. So do ls. So you got a demo, by the way. So ls-l. So here you can, how can you determine that is a directory? So ls-l will show you. So the other files are having hyphen, and this is having D. So this will show this is this is a directory. D represents directory. Right? That's it. Now, an important takeaway, like I already told you, the in Linux OS, the files names are case sensitive, meaning the demo is different and demo is different, like I already shown. So now I can create mkdir demo, mkdir demo. These are all different. Windows, you can go and try later. It is not possible. Linux, it is possible. Okay, so that's something about creating the file and creating the directory. Any questions?
Yes, Raghu. So you said like there is no file extension in the Linux, right? So what will be the default if it's just created the sample here? So what will be the default file type?
I mean, you give file type, you don't give file type. That's what I'm telling. For OS, it does not matter, right? So that means sample and file.txt. You're a human being. Your understanding .txt is a text file, but there is a computer sitting out there. So for both, I mean, both the files are same only, right?
That's what I'm asking. What will be the file type of that? If we just created the sample, by default, what will be the file type of it?
No, you're not understanding again. .txt sample both are same only. For your comfort, in the file name only you have given your .txt, but that is not meaning anything to the operating system. It is same only, right? Both are same. You just created that file name as .txt,
Yeah, got it.
right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean, someone named you as Asif just for the, I mean, for the comfort purpose, right? But let's say you look for you look for an animal perspective. Like for an example, I mean, an animal is looking both of us. My name is Raghu and your name is Asif. But for that animal, like any animal, I would say, like, right? So doesn't matter, by the way, right? So it will not come to me saying that, or it will not understand our language, right? So we are human beings. We understand you are Asif, I am Raghu. For an operating system, we're saying both are same. That means for a third party, right? Both are same. No one will understand that. It is same only. For an animal, we both are having 2 hands, 2 legs. Everything is same only. No difference.
Oh, okay.
So for an operating system, both are same only. You created for your comfort.txt. Yeah. I hope I gave a vast example, but still you got the context.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Raghu, creation of the files will be allowed only in the user folder, not in other folders, right?
Depends upon the requirement, by the way. If the requirement is to create there, by the way, you have to go and create that.
Because whenever you're trying to create, it is showing it permission denied, right? So that is the purpose I'm asking.
Yeah. If it is supposed to be created there, we'll create there only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So permission denied, you don't have permission, you'll go and get the permission. That's it, right?
Okay. So by default, there is no permission for all the folders, right?
Yeah. For security reason, answer is yes.
Okay. Right, fine.
All right. So the next is how do we remove some files, by the way, and the directories maybe. So here RM and the file name is going to remove the file. All right. RM just remove the file. Sometimes it prompts you for yes or no also. Okay. So in that case, you just give -F option to just avoid that yes or no. So maybe here you're not getting. I can show you this. I think usually on the root user it will prompt for an example. Sample RM sample. It asks for yes or no. Root user having, I mean, basically like it was set to ask when you're removing it. So empty. Okay. When it is asked, by the way, so then what you can do is you don't want to be asked -f option. So it won't ask. All right. So the next is RM command to remove the file, just removes the file. And the next is the be careful while removing the file, it just delete all the content, and retrieving the data is almost impossible, right? Same applies to Windows as well. If you delete a file, you can't get it back. So whereas the removing the directory also use the RM command, but RM command cannot directly remove a directory. So, but you have to give an option, which is -r option. You're telling that exclusively you are deleting the directory, a recursive option, we call it up. So which by using this, you are getting it. All right. So this is what is we have with the directories. So you clear the directory and clear the. So if it is asked for yes or no, by the way, RM-RF you can use so that it can just, delete that particular one. All right. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? All right. So the next is we have here is copying the files and directories. Okay, I want to copy the files from one location to another location or in the same location, by the way. So how do you deal with that? So it's going to be a CP command. Okay, the command is CP command. So CP command, you can copy nodes.txt to, let's say, maybe I'm giving pages.txt. Okay, now there is a file which is created, just copied from nodes.txt. And of course, it does not have any content. So this also will not get any content. Maybe if it has content, it will get the content. Same like Windows only. Right click copy, right click paste, you get the file, right? So that's how it is. Here it is a command, CP command, but you just copy it in the local place. Maybe if you want to, if you are planning to copy in some other place, let's say nodes.txt, maybe I'm copying to /tmp/nodes.txt. I want to copy. Okay. So this is how I just, copied this file to /tmp, ls of /tmp, some folder is there. So you just copied that file there. All right. So this is how we are going to get the copy the files to some other location. Now, let's say if I want to copy a directory, okay, then how do you do that? So here I have a directory. So if I copy cp demo to /tmp, enter. So it is also telling that, hey, I'm omitting because I'm not doing it because it's a directory. Same like CP, same like RM command. Here you have -r option. Okay, if you use -r option, so then the directory will be copied and all the content in that directory also will be copied. Of course, we don't have any content. You just copied the empty directory. But let's say if you are creating some files inside that directory, all the files are folder copy, right? Windows, you right click folder, you paste the folder somewhere. All the files inside that folder will come. It's same logic here also. Okay, so you copy a directory, so it just copies all the files inside that. Okay, So that's how it's going to be. And cp is the command. You can copy in the same location or some other location. You can do that. All right. So that's about a copy command. Any questions on this?
Yeah, Raghu, how to edit any file or how to view the content in the file? Are there any commands?
Upcoming. We'll
Okay.
do it.
Hey Raghu, how to rename the file or directory?
Next one. Next
Okay.
topic. Rename only you're asking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell. All right. At least I have seen two people asking something on the chat, by the way, asking about, okay, in Windows, we have a recycle bin about deleting the file. So that means, I mean, your people understanding is wrong, right? If file is deleted, it is going into a recycle bin. That means, is it deleted? It's never deleted, right? Your understanding is wrong, right? So you deleted a file. I mean, you're thinking that it got deleted, but never deleted, by the way, just kept in some other place. Okay. As a measure, by the way, where you can retrieve it. It is never deleted, by the way. You're thinking it is deleted. From the disk, it's never deleted. It's never performed the delete operation. It just moved to some other place. Okay. So you never lost it, by the way. Okay. That doesn't mean it's a deletion. You never, it never deleted. So just really technically talking, it's not a technical deletion, right? It just, okay, moved your file there. Just like as simple as that cut paste, it just moved the file of your one to other one. There you actually delete it. You can't retrieve it, right? That's the actual perform of deletion happens. And that's where it won't, it is same like here. So this additional fancy stuff is not there in Linux, as simple as that, right? You want to delete means it's delete only. So having kept there, now let's say if you can also ask me how to retrieve a file from recycle bin, right? Isn't it? So I mean, you can't keep like n number of gates to prevent the deletion, right? So you delete it is a delete, as simple as that. So that's how. So that is a little a different approach, by the way. So just done by Windows, but it's not a deletion. All right. The next is renaming or moving a file. All right. So in Linux, we have a file, by the way, if you want to move from one location to another location, or also to help you in renaming as well. So a single command will help you. That is MV command. Now here MV, now MV pages.txt. Let's say I'm moving to, for an example, here only there is a demo folder. I just moved it to the demo folder. Do ls. Now the pages.txt is no more there, and do ls demo, and it actually moved to that particular file. Okay. Right. So that's about moving the file to another location. And whereas, how do you do a rename, by the way? So mv nodes.txt to nodes.txt. Okay. So this is what is okay, has been renamed. Now the nodes.txt has been renamed as nodes.txt. Okay, so that's how it just got a rename. It is small nodes, and I just moved the name as capital nodes. It's renamed. Now, previous scenario, it moved the file. Now in this scenario, it renamed. Now, what is the difference between them? Like which case is happening what? And that depends upon the target, by the way. Okay. Now, if you have given a move, a file name, where is this? Yeah. This, yeah. So here, move a file name, and the target is a directory. It will just move the file. Okay. And you're trying to move, and it is a file name. It just renames the file. Okay. So that is the difference, brother. So if you're trying to move to a direct, I mean, basically your target is a directory. Let's say mv command is a source and this is a target, let's assume. And if your target is a directory, it will move to the directory. If target is not a directory, it's a file, it just moves to that particular file. So that's how it is going to deal with the rename and move. Clear? Any questions? Now, an important thing over here is I would like to suggest you to start reading about the shortcuts, by the way. So this, there's a link given, like not only this shortcut, you can go with any shortcut. In Windows, you can copy a file by using right click copy, or you can select some text and copy Control C. You can right click copy always, but you can also press Control C, and you know the performance of Control C, right? Like basically like, you can do the things a bit faster, isn't it? Now the terminal also, you have a lot of shortcuts. You can start working as a professional and make the things working the things much efficiently, by the way. Okay. So your performance of your, on the command line can increase while you know some shortcuts. I just took some top 10 shortcuts from Red Hat documentation. Okay, directly. So giving it here, you can open any documentation from the internet, does not matter. But I want you to understand that there are some shortcuts which will help you in dealing with your command line in a much more efficient way. Okay. I would suggest you to start reading it and start using it also while you're doing the practice and while you're doing the work on the Linux. Okay. So, yeah. I think that's the agenda for today. Whatever I wanted to cover, that's the agenda. So maybe tomorrow, I think it's first day. I don't want to overwhelm with too many options. So tomorrow we're going to start with an editor in the Linux. We'll go and use the editor and start from there. Yeah. That's it. And that's all from my side for today. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Generally, I want to know, uh, after entering into top command, how to exit from a top command. Can
And
you
press
please
Control
show?
C as a shortcut.
Sorry?
Control C.
Okay.
So I open the top command. So I am pressing Control C, one option to come out. I came out. Or else I think you have Q also, I think. Just press Q also, you will come out. Both are same.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? We have some time. Please feel free to ask if you have any questions related to the training as well. Any other questions? It's fine.
Yeah, so Raghu, in this Linux part, are we going to cover like the basic Linux, what which is required in the DevOps, or we are going in depth? Like I've already worked on the Linux, so I was just asking that, like in the administration part and all.
We'll cover the administration part as
Okay,
well. Whatever is needed for a DevOps engineer to do the job will take that much.
okay,
Yeah. And again, that much to start with, by the way. So I will not say that, right? So like again, like I was telling in the starting of the session, like, I mean, your ROI, I'm always taking that decision consciously. So what is the thing which is essentially needed? We're going with those particular things. And I mean, sometimes in between during the sessions, other sessions also, we may get some different requirement. And that time I'll try to explain that option. It's not like one time you load everything and go to the next step. So whatever is needed essentially to start our job, by the way, so we'll go to that extent. And then maybe whenever it is needed during the other sessions of the training, we'll take that much. We'll talk about it.
yeah, okay, thanks.
All right. No questions, we can wrap it up. Any questions, feel free to talk.
So our class is permanently changed from to what time from now on?
There's nothing changed. I am not sure how you got into this session as well. There's other session, right? Don't belong here.
Oh, I can't be doing this session?
No, you don't belong in this session, right? You belong to the previous batch. That
Right, I'm just
batch
doing some extra learning.
Nadim, you asked a question, the time changed. I told the time never changed, you only came into the wrong batch.
Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. I understand now.
Yeah.
Is there any one-on-one section for the doubts clarification?
There is a session. Yeah, you good thing you
I mean, after the subscription.
wait 1 second. So in the same GitHub link, by the way, so let me update the right. So let me update the week 1 lab coding. So this is the link. So the timings will be 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST, which is nothing but 7:30. Oh, sorry, 1 p.m. IST, right? So 1 p.m. IST, EST, which is 2:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So during this time, you can join, and if you have any problem, like a couple of people have mentioned the problem about the creation of a machine or whatever it is. So just join this Zoom session during this time. During this time, the window will be open. Maybe I know for US people it may be too much early, by the way, but whenever you woke up, maybe you can clear it up on that. Yeah. So there you can share your screen and all. We can do the things. It's a regular talk. Cool. Thanks for reminding. I forgot almost. So, and another thing, so I'm done with the machine. Should not forget the things to delete it, by the way. So at this point of time, I'm telling you, go to the resource group, just delete the resource group so that all the things which is inside that will get deleted. So at least you don't need to bother about what to be deleting and what not to be deleting. Delete. Okay, let it get deleted. All right, so that's all, and see you all in tomorrow's session then. Bye. Good day. Good night.